Oh, what's up, everybody? Look, man, it's your boy Fred. Listen, here to discuss the two New York basketball teams, the Knicks and the Nets. Who got better? A lot of people think that the Brooklyn Nets got better than the New York Knicks this offseason. I'm one of the few fans who don't believe that. You got people on network television, Stephen A. Smith, all pissed off and mad. You got a lot of people out there drove about the New York Knicks. A lot of Knicks fans are upset that you couldn't land a Kevin Durant, you couldn't land a Kyrie Irving. I'm here to tell you right now, I think the New York Knicks did phenomenal this NBA free agency. They didn't reach for the stars. They didn't pay out the ridiculous amount of money to players that were not going to build their team the way they're trying to build their team. You drafted R.J. Barrett third overall. You get a great quality contract and a great player in Julius Randle. What did the Brooklyn Nets do? You sign a player who's not going to play a season for you and coming off the worst injury that an NBA player can have. You also signed his best friend, with what you've seen in Boston, lacks leadership. Phenomenal talent. And all you did is bring in another player who can't contribute on the offensive end at all in DeAndre Jordan. That's it for the Brooklyn Nets. You traded Julius Randle. You traded D'Angelo Russell. You brought in Wilson Chandler. That's it. That's all the Brooklyn Nets did. Kevin Durant doesn't play this season. That's a next year thing. Kyrie Irving lacks leadership. I love to watch him play. Fans who watch me know me. I love me some Kyrie Irving. Phenomenal ball handler, the best ball handlers I've probably seen. The way the guy can score, get to the cup, it's just impactful. But if you watch this FanView Live, like my man G Sports all the time, he doesn't play winning basketball, and he lacks leadership. Kevin Durant doesn't come back to next season, and you got to question his leadership. One of the main reasons why he left Oklahoma City because he was playing with a player like Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook. Then he joins the Golden State Warriors, and he doesn't get the respect and the love of being arguably the best player that ever played basketball. He doesn't feel the appreciation of winning 2 NBA championships. Got to question his leadership of why he wants to leave an organization of that magnitude to go join the Brooklyn Nets. Plays in the Game 5 NBA Finals when he knows that he's not going to re-sign with the organization. Cheats the Brooklyn fans out of a season. Question his leadership. And DeAndre Jordan, we're not going to talk about DeAndre Jordan. But Fred, the Knicks didn't do anything. They didn't accomplish nothing. Let me tell you what the Knicks did. The Knicks went out there and said, we're not going to spend all this cap. If we're not going to land a Kemba Walker, a Kawhi Leonard, we're not spending this maximum cap space. They spent it as wise as you could spend cap space. The Knicks went out there and gave Julius Randle, who put up 21-9 with the Pelicans last year in the Western Conference. If he can duplicate a season like that, that could be an all-star player on the roster for the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks did, and James Dolan, which I'm not a fan of James Dolan by any means, it's stretching the imagination. But I think they got a better head coach in New York with David Fizdale than they have in Brooklyn. Dennis Smith Jr., the jury is still out on what can he be at the pro level. But you get Alfred Payton, who knows you can go out there and get you 10 points, 10 assists. He's a double-double point guard in the NBA. Reggie Bullock gonna knock you down some threes. All on 2-year deals. Wayne Ellington on a 2-year deal. Could knock you down some 3-point shots, and you know he's gonna be professional in the locker room. R.J. Barrett. You still got Kevin Knox. 2 solid young NBA players to try to build your organization around. You get Julius Randle. You got to get Taj Gibson at a good contract, 2-year deal, good locker room presence, good rebounder, good hustle person, good guy that a locker room needs when you got a bunch of young, inexperienced NBA players. Henry Arrington, Bobby Portis. All these guys are on 2-year deals. What is the benefit? People saying to themselves, why sign these guys? Because those guys can also, because they're only on 2-year deals, they can be tradable for young players And their contracts are feasible enough to trade them to a team that is playoff or NBA Finals competitive. And they can get assets for them. The contracts are within means. It's not ridiculous money. Every one of those contracts the New York Knicks signed this offseason are tradable players to a team that is NBA Finals contenders, and they can get assets in return. It was smart. When you can't get a Kemba Walker, you can't get a Kawhi Leonard, why waste my resource on two NBA superstars that lack leadership? The Brooklyn Nets gotta win now with no Kevin Durant. Why? Because D'Angelo Russell got that team to the playoffs. And I'm here to tell you right now, without Kevin Durant playing, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are a playoff NBA basketball team. DeAndre Jordan is arguably the second best player on that roster. Think about this for a second. Everyone's down the New York Knicks' throats this offseason. Man, look at Brooklyn. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I like Karis LeVert. I like those guys. But are you get the same production from the dudes? Jared Allen? Wilson Chandler? DeAndre Jordan? Joe Harris? You think those guys are going to perform to that caliber again? And Kyrie Irving is still running the helm for a season that lacks leadership? Come on, man. Let's process this for a second. I know Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. He's coming off the worst injury that an NBA player can have. You don't believe me? Go ask everyone who had an Achilles. Go ask Rudy Gay. Go ask Wesley Matthews. Go ask Boogie. Go ask anybody go ask Kobe Bryant. Go ask any player who had an Achilles. When they came back, they wasn't the same guy. Now, do I think Kevin Durant is still going to be Kevin Durant on the offensive end of basketball? You goddamn right I think he is. But on the defensive end, going into year 14 in the NBA, Kevin Durant won't be that guy no more. I don't see it. And he already lacks leadership. I just gave you the examples on why he left OKC and why he left the Golden State Warriors, which is the best organization ran in sports. You leave Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Stephen Curry and Andre Iguodala for Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan. The hell are you thinking? Because the ego of Kevin Durant lacks leadership. Kyrie Irving wants to leave LeBron James because he wants to have his own organization on team to show everybody that he's arguably one of the best point guards in the game. Lacks leadership. And everyone's down the New York Knicks' throats. The New York Knicks don't have expectations to make the NBA playoffs. But I'm here to tell you that the roster they put together, if they play hard, they can have a better season than the Brooklyn Nets. The contracts that the New York Knicks gave out to the players that they gave them out to was smart basketball contracts. Guys that could get tradable, get young pieces in return. You're not getting the superstars you need. You can't get the Kemba Walkers. You can't get the Kawhi Leonards of the world. Not even interested in Jimmy Butler. Can't get those two guys? Follow your course. Go get Julius Randle. Go give me that 21-9. I got R.J. Barrett. I got Kevin Knox. In the next couple of seasons, the New York Knicks will be in the right direction under David Fizdale. While the Brooklyn Nets are trying to find their identity and trying to figure out why they signed two guys who